So the big question we're all trying to figure out is this going to end in a crescendo of implosion, or is this going to just be another, I don't know, the market's down 25%. Is it down 50% by the time this is all over, but it takes another year to get there? Read and react. That's what we're doing. VIX is going nowhere, and this is surprising a lot of people. And I've been doing research on it this weekend, and I don't know if you've been following me, you know that I kind of flip-flop back and forth. I keep saying to myself, I want the lottery ticket of VIX in my portfolio. I just want to own calls on VIX. Lottery ticket, small position, huge returns if there's ever a panic. But why is VIX not going up with the market in this decided downtrend? And will VIX pop, leading what that would mean is if VIX is popping, the market's crashing. So the big question we're all trying to figure out is this going to end in a crescendo of implosion, or is this going to just be another, I don't know, the market's down 25%. Is it down 50% by the time this is all over, but it takes another year to get there? I mean, is this going to be like a slow grinding misery for another year where there'll be these 10 to 20% pops off the low and then just boom, down to new lows? Okay. So I don't even know what's worse. I mean, I'm in max cash, so I would rather have the market implode. I mean, get it over with, and then I could put the money to work. That's what we did in 2020 and had lots of fun. So the grind lower is brutal. So here's what I can gather from VIX. And I'm going to make this very short. Number one, if you're not a pure options guy, if you don't spend all your time understanding volatility, if you're not that volatility girl, where that's what you do, then I submit to you, you should not be playing with these assets. I'm not that person. And from what I gather, from I've been just consuming as much information as I can on the VIX issue. Okay. And on the one hand, you got these VIX gurus out there, these options gurus. And aren't they just so smug about it? Aren't they so smug about it? You know what they were like in high school. These guys were like, but they're so smug about it now because they have this little world that they understand. And I love them for it. I respect them, and they're making money. Good for them. But I'm just saying, come off the high horse just a little bit, because you're going to fall off of it at some point. Everybody does. Anyway, I digress. If you don't really understand the VIX situation, if you're not living and breathing volatility every day, and gamma and vanna and convexity and all of these things, you should not be playing with these assets. You want to own a lottery ticket because you're concerned about what's going on in the world. I understand that, and I consider doing that, right? I'm going to get long the S&P in a big way, and then Vladimir Putin does something insane in Eastern Europe, and the markets lock limit down on Monday morning. How do I hedge that risk? Well, okay, guess what? I can go own some cheap VIX calls. And so I can understand owning a tiny amount of a VIX call to protect against some insanity that we don't know. But that's not really an investment strategy. Okay. And the reason why VIX is not skyrocketing is really, in my opinion, twofold from all that I can gather. Number one, this is a well-telegraphed bear market. This is a Fed raising interest rates, reducing liquidity bear market that everybody sees. VIX skyrockets when things happen we don't see. Like, for instance, a pandemic that shuts down the world economy. VIX will skyrocket, right? Or some type of collapse in the credit default swap business that the rest of us don't see, and it skyrockets. But that's not what's going on this year. So VIX isn't going to go anywhere. And that's not going to change. If this is a slow grind for the next X amount of months, VIX is going to stay right in this level. So you need something that people aren't watching that would skyrocket VIX. I don't know what that is. I mean, we can sit here and make up stuff all day. I don't know what it's going to be. All right. So that's my first thought. If you want to hedge against the unknowing, I get it. If you're trying to use VIX for anything else and you're not living and breathing options in VIX, you shouldn't be there. It's a waste of your time and a waste of your money. Okay. Example. If you wanted to make money on the CPI print and you went long VIX in front of it, market gapped down 3% on NASDAQ. VIX was up 1%, 1.5%. It would have been better to be short the NASDAQ and pick up 3%. VIX is not for that. It's not for CPI numbers or non-farm payroll numbers. It's not for anything that we see. Okay, here's the other reason why that VIX is, from what I can gather, not really moving. This was the most important piece of information I gathered from all the work I've been doing. I found it very interesting. There were a lot of people in the VIX world, in the volatility world, a lot of hedge funds, a lot of institutions that put on a lot of dumb trades leading up to the pandemic 2020, and they got crushed. It was like a wildfire, okay, that took out an entire forest. And now there's just ash on the ground. That was 2020. People blew up. The next couple of years, the Fed was adding liquidity. People didn't come back and put on a bunch of these trades. It takes a while for the new grass to start growing through the ash, right? So 2020 wiped out most of the people that were caught in that year. And they haven't set up those trades right now. That was very interesting to me. They just haven't set up the trade. There's not the enormity of the trade that would get trapped in a bear market and that would lead to a spike in VIX. Do you understand what I'm saying? It was like a lawnmower. It just cut them all down, and they haven't had time to build up asinine positions again that blow up in a year like this. So that's kind of what's going on too. It's a different playing field. Leading up to 2020, there'd been a lot of time there to put on stupid trades, and they got trapped, and you get bang, huge move in VIX. Not a lot of time to set up those trades. They've all been burned. And so the only way to get paid on VIX, I think, is something that we don't know that's coming. So anyway, those are my thoughts on VIX.